Hello again, chess fans. Let's do a little bit of tactics training again. Let's see how it goes today. I think yesterday, yesterday I didn't do any shows or whatever. So I did some tactics and I dropped under 2500, and then I quickly had to get myself back up to 2550 where we were. So when we did the show last, we had 2547. Okay, we're currently on 2555. So let's see if we can, stay nice and focused. I have been quite tired today, so I'm not quite sure how well that is gonna go. Did I just screw this up? No, I didn't. My bad. I thought I messed it up, so I just had to double check. Okay, let's uh, let's continue. Whoa. Okay, this looks like it should be easy, but okay, a move like g4 looks very logical. He's gonna have to lose a rook, is it not? Or can he get some sort of like mate thing here? So there's the problem of rook c1 to h1 if we play g4 maybe, but I don't think it's a problem. I don't actually think it's an issue in the end. So g4, rook check, king h2, rook check, king g3, and what does he really have? He's got nothing. Now, if we play g4, he can maybe play rook g1, but then after g3, he's going to have to sacrifice one of his rooks, which point he'll probably get into trouble anyway again because of one of his rooks being hanging. So g4 looks logical. I don't know if I missed anything. I don't see any other way of stopping g5. There's no sacrifices, so g4 and g5. well, that was much easier than I would have wanted it to be, but we get a little bit of rating points, so let's continue. Okay, this one, it is we're down a pawn, but there is okay. So what's going on here? We're just down a pawn. We can't play rook g8 because of rook takes c5. Can we play maybe king e3 first? Do we have the luxury of doing that? If his knight goes... Okay, we obviously have checks as well. Oh, maybe we can just play something like b5. Trying to trap his king. Check, king goes there. Bishop d2 looks tempting as well at some point. If we're, if we do this right. So check, king goes to e5, check, king goes there. So then the king is a runner. I don't want a runner on our hands. So rook b8 doesn't look like it actually does mate. b5 on the other hand also doesn't actually work, because then you can maybe play a6 even. So of course we do have a rook that a bishop that's hanging in the end in this variation as well. Huh. Everything looks very tempting, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know if rook b8 works. Okay. Now, of course, after rook b8, king a6 is trapped, but what do we do after that? Bishop d2, maybe? With the threat of b5, of course? At which point he can't play b5. But if he plays rook check, maybe... Okay, I guess king c2, and then what does he have? Because it's still a mate threat. He'll have to lose his rook. So, rook check, and bishop d2. Okay, so he has to sacrifice for it. Guess we just take the piece, and of course we're just up a rook. Okay, you could have... I think he could have played rook g3 check instead, and then rook g2. No, I guess that doesn't work either, does it? Because it's just a mate threat. Ouch. Ouch. Very ouch. Okay. Wow. How'd this queen get here on f2? So there's a queen on f2 here. Looks to be very tempting to want to play something like rook takes g5, but we don't have this chance yet. Do we have a move like rook takes f4? And after pawn takes, queen takes f4. But I don't see a follow-up. Okay, his queen is almost trapped as well. Something to note maybe. So queen, knight d1 is what I'm looking at then. And after his queen moves, possibly we have h4, but I don't think so. So queen, so knight d1 looks very tempting. Then he's surely forced to play queen c5 or b6. Either one doesn't really matter to us. And then after, maybe rook takes f4 was correct, because maybe after knight d1 he gets the chance to put his queen on b6 to protect his f6 bishop. Now in my line, rook takes f4, e takes f4, queen takes f4, queen f5 is a very, very big threat, which will check and then win the bishop on f6 and put his king in a very, very awkward position as well, with f4 ideas as well. Now, I don't think there's anything crazy after that, so rook takes f4 looks very, very simple. Queen takes... okay, apparently queen takes is wrong now. Okay, maybe e5 first? Oh, I see, I have a different idea. So remember when we looked at the queen on f2? Okay, the queen is unprotected. So here there's the idea of maybe playing e5 now with bishop d3 check. Just to discover it. So he has to move his queen. Okay. Now after bishop check, we can probably just take, and what do we have in the end material-wise? Bishop check, king moves, and pawn takes f6. Now if he plays queen takes h3, we play queen h2, and we trade off pieces, but we do have 2 pieces against a rook. What's the pawn count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 5. So we'll have 2 pieces against the rook. And this pawn in the middle of the board is very strong. Our knight's going to look fantastic on e4 as well. So I guess that does make sense. Okay. We got it wrong in the end. That's sad. I lost like 10 rating points for that stupid nonsense. Okay, so here it seems that a simple move like rook c3 pinning, and if he plays b6, then we can play knight g5 check. Let's see if my instincts are correct. Yes, they are. Okay. If we just play knight takes c5 now? Don't we just win a piece? Yep, we just win a piece. I am perfectly okay with that, sir. Thank you. Okay, so we get our rating back. Okay, there looks like there should be like a mate threat here somewhere. Knight c2 check, king d1, queen check, bishop c1. Okay, then what then? So the question is, how do we follow that up? Maybe just queen a6 is also a possibility here. What is material count like? Always look at material as well, because that'll also help you a little bit with knowing what you want to win back. Maybe knight c2 and queen b3 is a possibility, because then we have a double check. That looks very tempting. Knight c2 check, queen b3 with the double check on the cards here. We can still play the double check, and if king goes to c1, queen b1 is mate, and if king goes, okay, so it's still a double check. Not much you can do about this. Queen d1 is mate, queen b1 is also mate. Okay, so that was not so hard. We needed to just find the obvious trick there. Ooh, this looks dirty. E3 looks very tempting. E3 looks very tempting. E3, if he takes our bishop, you maybe even play E2 after that. But maybe we lose too much material. Maybe he can survive that. So E3 looks very tempting, but it might not be enough. I don't... Bishop B5 doesn't look like it does much. I mean, E3 is the first aggressive move that I can find here. But what do we play after that? Is the real question. And of course, with E3, his bishop after taking on C6 defends a lot of squares around his king as well. So that I don't like. Maybe just knight F6 and knight G4. Does he have a way of stopping that from happening? Doesn't look so. Knight just hopping to G4 and mating on H2. Knight F6? I'm gambling. Okay, apparently that is the right idea. Okay. Well, I don't know if he had to take. Obviously, he didn't have to take on C6, which is what I'm calculating as well. I'm trying to find the best moves for my opponent as well, or for, obviously the person you're playing against. Here, it's obviously a computer, and I don't think bishop takes C6 was the best move. So, I find it a little bit depressing. Okay, this is... Ooh. Ooh. Okay, I was first immediately looking at the obvious, which would be queen d5 check. But he can run to d7 again. It's a bit of a nuisance. So maybe we play rook... No, then he plays check. Might be annoying. Ah, okay, what if we go queen d5 check, king d7, queen f5 check? Then, of course, if the king now goes to the e-file, the rook will check, and if it goes back, it goes queen b5 checkmate. So queen check, and now we go check. Surely. Ah, apparently that's wrong. Okay. Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. Obviously, that's just mate. My bad. Okay, you don't expect him to move into a mate when he didn't have to move into a mate, of course. I guess everything is mate, because queen f7 is still mate. Even if he goes to e7, queen e7 is mate, and if he goes king c6, queen b5 is mate in that position as well. Okay. Rook e3 jumps to mind, but maybe we want to check first. Queen check. Okay. If queen check, king h2, yeah, then rook e3. Because now we can't put a piece on f3 as well, because the knight is pinned on d4. So queen check, and then rook e3. I hope. Okay, that's apparently correct. Yay! Okay, he just took a pawn. We do have some check ideas. Maybe we play check first. So what if we play... No. Hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. Am I missing something simple? What does the material count look like? Okay, we are, yeah, currently we're just down a pawn after this, hey. So there must be a way to win some material. Ah, I see. Okay, so if we do go queen check g6, then we go queen e5. Attacking the bishop and attacking the rook. That is probably what we're looking for. Queen e5. Yes. Okay, good. Moving along. Ooh. Feels like there should be sacrifices on h7 right away. Or maybe even just knight. No, we can't move the knight f4 maybe? With the threat of knight g6 mate, which would be pretty. Now, if he plays g6 on the other hand, though, what then? Or even g5 maybe. Okay, if g6, then we can just play queen f7 with the obvious rook takes h7 as a mate threat. Okay, but if he plays g6, then we can take our rook, huh? Okay, g6. Is there a mate? I'm looking for mates. So knight there, g6. Could we maybe play queen f7 first? No, it doesn't look like it. g6. So knight f4, g6. Knight takes g6. King g7. I guess we can just drop back with the knight. Just knight f4. Threatening rook takes h7 check. And of course, we're stopping any mate threats on our king as well. So there's no stress of that. Knight f4 looks very, very strong. Just want to see, is there any other way to defend g6? Doesn't look like it, does it? And the problem is if he plays h6, we still play queen f7. With the idea of rook takes. Yeah, with the idea of rook takes h6. With knight g6 mate. Okay, knight f4. I mean, this must be correct. Queen f7. I just want to see if queen... Okay, maybe we play rook takes h6 first. And then queen f6. He might have to sacrifice his queen then. But he does get quite a bit of material for it. No, he's still down, isn't he? Now, is there anything he can do after queen? Queen f7, king h7 maybe. Just trying to make sure I don't stuff this up, guys. Just trying to make sure I don't mess this up. Queen king, okay, queen king, queen king. No, of course, we still play rook h6, yes. Rook takes h6, yeah. Correct. Okay, so now he has to apparently play that. Okay. I guess that's a move. Kind of need to see what we're going to do about that, huh? Okay, so his queen is now defending h6. Now we might just... I don't know if we have the luxury of taking the pawn on f7. Don't think so. There is another... No, we have to be careful moving our knight because there is a mate threat on h2. So we have to be careful of that. So I don't like knight g6 because it doesn't seem to accomplish anything. I mean, we can win the queen, of course. We can just play rook takes... Oh, no, we cannot. Sorry. Ah, maybe knight g6 check king and then takes? But then he still stops mate though, because he can take with the king. Not so sure about any of this. G5 looks very tempting as well. But of course, then he gets a move. Can he attack our queen? Well, he cannot. He cannot attack our queen. He can't play rook f8 because of knight g6 check. And he can't play rook c7 because queen takes e8. And he can't play rook e7 because of knight g6 check. So after g5, what does he play? We're just threatening to take on h6, of course. Don't think he has any threatening moves after that. He could maybe play rook takes e3 then, though. But then we can win the queen, can we not? Rook takes h6. He has to play pawn takes, or even queen takes, I guess, but pawn takes, and then knight g6 check, and then he has to sacrifice his queen. Then we are up material, and the king is still awkwardly placed. So I think it's rook. Okay, it is right. And rook takes h6. Ah, come on. Apparently rook takes h6 is not correct. Do we have time? Okay, maybe we have time for just pawn takes. Okay, no, we don't. Thank goodness. Because I was worried that we still had time for that nonsense as well. Ah, okay. Just knight g6 check immediately. Sorry, my bad, of course. With the rook takes, yeah. That is a bit stupid of me, sorry. Because he has to sacrifice his queen. Because now the pawn is pinned, the queen is blocked from defending, and of course the rook is defended on h6 by the pawn on g5. Okay. So we did everything correct there. In the end, I just kind of like got a little hasty and messed it up. Here, okay, the guy's about to promote, so it doesn't look like we particularly want that to happen. Can we stop that from happening, though? Is a good question, isn't it? Okay, we can take on e2, check immediately. That's just a free piece. That really is just a free piece. But now, let's say he blocks with his knight. Okay, then we have checks again. Okay, so queen takes check. What's the material going to be like? We're going to be down on exchange if we have to sacrifice our rook. But queen takes e2 check immediately looks fairly logical. Okay. Now, if we play queen d3 check, what will he do? What will he do? Queen d3, if he puts his queen in front, I'm sure we can just take it, and then play rook a8, and then bishop e7 and castle. Should be okay in that variation. Should. I say should. Yeah, we should be okay in that variation, because it takes him too long to get any pieces coming to b8 or anything like that, because our bishop is also stopping the b file, the b5 square. Okay, so, but after king c1, what then? So if we play queen d3, king c1, then what? Then what do we have? We have nothing. Not a big fan here. Not a big fan. Can we win other material is a good question. We might be okay after queen d3, king c1, queen... Yeah, I don't like it. Huh. Okay, so this is where we need to look at all the squares, and all the variations. Maybe knight takes d4 immediately? With the obvious knight... Okay, there is no knight e2 check, sorry. Still trying to find something entertaining to play. Hmm. I'm not convinced. Not convinced, people. Do we have any stopping move? Can we stop his pawn by any chance? I don't think so. Do not think so. Huh. I mean, our rook on c8 is okay for now, so do we have a mating net? That is maybe the next question we should ask. Is there a mating net somewhere? Is there a mating net somewhere? Maybe bishop b5? No, that doesn't work. So this is where I'm stuck. I mean, the obvious piece win was easy, but the rest does not seem that easy. Again, maybe it doesn't matter that he has an extra queen on the board after all this. Well, it should matter, shouldn't it? Yeah, I don't like this. Maybe I'm missing something stupid, but I do not like this. I mean, I'm very tempted to play bishop e7 and castle, but that's not going to work. Okay, queen d3. Check. King c1. Bishop b5. And he goes queen. Just trying to see if I can find a mate here. That's pretty much the game plan here, is finding a mate. Finding a mate is the game plan. I don't want to get it wrong. I refuse. I refuse to be wrong. I absolutely refuse to be wrong. Knight takes pawn, e queens. Takes, takes, king f7. Don't like it. If queen d3, king c1. Don't like it. If I don't like any of it. I want to cry. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Let's ask for a hint. Yeah, obviously it's a queen. Okay, so queen check. But I didn't like this move. I don't understand. Why would we play? Why would he play there though? What if he goes king c1? Again, I hate it when they make moves that do not make sense to me. Of course, this is easy. I mean, if I'm going to assume that the guy's going to play like an idiot all the time, then of course I'm going to get all the... Okay, apparently that's wrong. But of course I'm going to be able to get the tactics right then. Okay, so what's the problem here then? Why is this all so fancy? What's wrong with that move? Is there a tactic here that I do not see? I guess he just wants to win the rook as well. But again, my question is, okay, so after takes and king e7. Okay, no, king d7 apparently. Okay, but I mean in this position, okay, we're a piece up, of course. But again, I go back and I ask the question: what if he goes king c1? Come on, guys, what if he goes king c1? Okay, I guess the idea is that if he goes king c1, we just take on h1. Guess that is the game plan. It seems like it could make sense. Okay, so we end up losing a rook, but we also win a rook. Okay, moving along. Just finish this one again quickly. And king e7. Still, I don't think it looks great, but anyway. Okay, black to play. He's not threatening any mates as of yet. Knight e5 looks very tempting. With pawn takes c3 afterwards. But maybe we can do this quicker. I'm just trying to get his queen away from c2, from not protecting c2 anymore. Because if we can do that, then he's in big trouble. But he can go queen e4 after knight e5. Then we take his knight. He takes. Not quite sure where that's going to go. Huh. Knight e5, queen e4, pawn takes knight, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, king c2. Looks like the kind of move that he would probably play. Rook f2 maybe. Oh, okay. Wait. Do we have any checks with our knight if he does play like that? If he does play it like that, do we have any checks with the knight? Maybe we play knight f3 then. So look at it. So we go knight e5, queen e4, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, king b1, knight f3. But then he plays pawn takes pawn. Well, no. If he plays pawn takes pawn, we play queen takes g7. If he plays rook takes rook, rook takes queen, we play knight check, and we win the queen back. I like 95. Probably wrong. It's correct. Okay, pawn takes pawn. Again, you have to go so far, but then the puzzle just goes 2 moves deep. I mean, come on. Like, of course we can see all of this, but that doesn't mean that the game is just over. After pawn takes h6, you still have to play. You still have to find the right ways to make sure you don't get killed. What a waste. What a waste of my time. What a waste of my time. Okay, his queen's hanging. So is ours, then is his, and then is ours, and everything is hanging. Right. Right. Let's wonder. Material-wise, it's equal. Pawn-wise, it's equal. Okay, that's important. Now, queen h4, queen takes queen, queen takes, and then g6. And he looks perfectly fine. Now, there is... maybe we can play bishop takes h7 check, followed by queen d3 check, and then winning his queen. So, we're getting our queen away from the g3 from being attacked with a check. And then we can obviously take his queen, because his queen is hanging as well. That's a nice tactic. I like that one. Okay, we just got forked. Don't like that one. Queen takes f7. Knight takes. Huh. Okay, remember that he does have a small problem with the fact that we can play b8. So you have to be careful of that. Important. Very important to remember that. Queen takes f7, knight takes knight. Knight takes rook. Knight f6 to tempting, but after king h8, it seems like we have nothing left. We might have the move rook c1 as a saving grace as well, because he cannot take the queen, because we take his queen, and then he'll, well, maybe he can, because then, but then he'll have to play rook b8, because he can't take back our rook because we queen. So everything revolves around this beautiful little pony that we have, it would appear. Do we have knight f6 check first? Ooh. Do we have knight f6 check first? Why not change your move order? When in doubt, change your move order, guys. Always a good little idea to look at. If you're not sure about something, change your move order. So if knight f6 check, if he goes king back, we take the rook and we play rook c8 and he's bust. So knight f6 check. The king goes back that way, then we can just take. Just take his rook and we play rook c8. Yeah, that's it. Done, done, and done. Lovely. Lovely. It took me very long to get that, but lovely. It's a nice tactic. Okay, there's something here as well. Must be a tactic. Smell. Lovely. His back rank is very, very weak. Back rank very weak. Currently it's equal except we're up a bunch of pawns. So if we can survive, you know, trade off some pieces or whatever, then we should be fine as well. Now something like knight d5 doesn't work because he wins an extra piece in the end in that variation. Or does he? So look at something like knight d5, rook takes queen, knight takes queen, rook takes rook, rook takes knight on d5, or e4, sorry, and then knight d1, attacking his bishop and threatening f2 check, winning the rook. Also plausible. But again, I feel like this has got a lot more to do with the fact that his back rank is very weak. So I would rather focus on that. Queen e2 is also an obvious choice. Queen e2 does look very, very strong, doesn't it? Attacking the bishop, threatening all kinds of dirty stuff. So queen e2 seems quite logical. And now we threaten mate as well, of course, on f2. Okay, so it turns out to be quite an easy one. Is there all kinds of yummy sacrifices here? Because of the queen on e4 check looks very, very dangerous as well. But I'm not sure if we have enough to continue that. Because his queen is protecting the a7 to g1 diagonal. So we don't have a check on e3. This is a problem. Now g3 with queen h5 is also possible. Yeah, g3 looks very strong. He has no counter moves. Apparently it's wrong. So, there you go. Got that one wrong. Maybe queen h5 first? No. Okay. I don't believe rook takes here works, so that was definitely not it. Okay. Ah, maybe just queen c2. That would be very, very simple and logical, wouldn't it? Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder. Now, don't we just take it? Yep. Okay, so we just won a piece. The queen c2 was really, really easy. Okay, so maybe we should just look for some simple moves as well sometimes, I guess. No. As I say that, I'm like, wait, no. I mean, knight takes f7 just looks devastating. If the rook takes, what's he gonna do? How does he stop all the mates? Guess he can stop mate for now. Can he? Check. Queen goes there. Okay, maybe he can stop mates for then. What's the material like after that? We are just up an exchange after knight takes f7. I don't know if there's a quicker way to mate. I don't think so. He'll have to play queen f8 and then surely we can just move our bishop. Oh, there is a quick mate. Sorry, yes, yeah. So knight takes here. Sorry, we can just play queen takes c8 after knight after queen c3 check. That's the one. Okay, I don't see how that helps you, but anyway. So we just have a back rank checkmate in the end there. Okay, that one wasn't too hard either. We can create a windmill here. What is wrong with rook takes g2 and mate? Oh, it's not, there's a rook. There's a rook over there. Jeez, that sneaky little rook. Defending its king's honor there. Okay, didn't see that one. Okay, so don't we just have a simple rook takes rook and knight and bishop d3 check? Just forking the knights. We just take it. It's a free piece. Looks free to me. Free as free, boys. Free as free. Okay, we're running out of time and I'm not doing as quickly as I wanted to. Okay. Now, what is he threatening? Is he threatening anything crazy? We are up material, so if we survive, then we're fine. So what's wrong with queen g5 check? Trading off pieces. Aren't we just fine after that? Like I said, we are up material. There's no immediate threats. So queen g5 looks simple enough. I don't see that we have anything, concrete to attack, like bishop h6 check, and then king b1. I don't see that we have anything after that. So queen g5 looks just very logical. Trading off pieces when you're ahead. There we go. It's correct apparently. It's a bit stupid, but anyway. Sometimes these puzzles really are not that hard. Ooh. Do we have some kind of mating net here? Looks like we might have a mating net. No, maybe not. King check. No, he can get away. So we don't have a mating net. I was trying to make d5 work. So queen e3 check. King goes where? King goes c2 maybe. Question is just where do we go with our queen really? Queen e3 check. D6 check I mean. Okay, what am I missing here? What's not to like about this? I mean, queen takes b4 looks very strong as well, but maybe we want to save the knight first. Maybe knight d4 check? Knight d4 check. Ugh, okay. Apparently that's wrong, yeah. Queen takes b4 or queen c6 check. Knight a3 doesn't make sense because king b3 looks to put us in a bit of trouble. Is there any pieces hanging? Nothing is hanging currently. Of course, queen takes b4 does look strong, but I was just worried about the obvious bishop takes b5. Now we will be up material, of course. We're up a bunch of... Oh no, we're down a rook. We're down a rook. Okay, so that tells us a lot, actually, about the position. That tells us that we need to find a way to win this. So, queen c6 check. And now we fork. Okay, so, you know, it's all about winning more material. So we need to find a way to win more material. So that makes sense. Ooh. Queen g3? No. Material-wise, once again, we're down the exchange. But okay, knight h5 looks very tempting, doesn't it? Guess he can survive. Knight h5, there. Okay, but it's check. Yeah, everything is with check. So knight h5, what's wrong with knight h5? Threatening knight g3. I was going to stop that from happening. Okay, apparently he's going to do that. That doesn't work, does it? Okay, if we play rook takes rook, queen takes rook, then knight g3 just loses his queen. So king takes afterwards. Then just knight f4 check. Okay, so we just take the rook. Queen takes as knight g3 is the problem. Because his king is trapped. So he has to lose his queen, yeah. Okay, so that one's done. Seems like there is a trick here somewhere on d6, b6, somewhere 6. Rook takes. But then he plays queen check. So that's the game plan. The game plan is... this one we play queen takes c7. Sorry, there we go. It's a quick one because the knight has to block the rook and defend c7 at the same time. So that's just an overloading. Okay, is there not just a piece hanging here? Okay, no, we have to watch out for f7 as well. So f7 is hanging. Maybe we can play rook takes e4. And whatever takes back, we just play bishop takes d6. We end up having two pieces for the rook. Now, is that good enough? So, rook takes e4. Let's say rook takes e4. We could maybe even play bishop takes e4 after that. Then our queen is hanging as well a little. I'm not sure about that one. So, rook takes rook. Rook takes knight. Rook takes rook. Bishop takes d6. Looks quite logical. Then his rook is hanging on e4 still. And we do have quite a bit of strength. I feel like rook takes e4 is pretty much the only real move here. Yes, correct. Moving on. I wanted to get to 2600, but I don't know if I'm going to make it. Okay, there is something cheap here, obviously. There's obviously some super cheap checks here. Knight check. Knight goes check, then king has to go where? So it's all about just figuring out which way does the knight go. Hmm. Tricky, tricky. Tricky, tricky. I mean, you know there's a fork with the knight and with the rook, of course, as well. If you can sacrifice your rook and knight for the queen, then of course it'll be a draw. But it's not that easy to do. Okay, instinct says knight e2 check must be correct. Okay, now if it goes this way, check, king goes there, so that doesn't work. Check, then the king has two squares, that one and that one. Then after check, no. Now of course we can force his king to e4, but it doesn't look like that's enough. I'm not convinced, folks. Not convinced. Is there any cheap skewers even? Mm-mm. The knight has to be on e2. There could maybe be a stalemate as well. It's also possible that we could have a stalemate in the end. Aha! Rook c3 check, king e4, rook e3. But it's not stalemate. Could just take. Trying to find a stalemate idea here. It's not stalemate because our king can move. But that would maybe be the idea. The idea might be to have a stalemate idea. Ugh. Sucky, sucky, sucky. So where do we put his king next? Where do we put his king next? I'm not convinced, boys and girls. Not convinced. Just not convinced. Ugh, I don't want to get this wrong. Okay, rook d3 check, d6 check looks like our only real option now. Because if king e3, then king e6 check again. Because then his king can't go to f3. because of the fork. So the king has to go back then. Great. So check. Now the king goes to e4, let's say. Then what do we do? C4. So C4. Ugh. Check. King goes there. Check. King goes there. And then we run out of checks, don't we? Check. 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 Again, I might be looking at stalemate ideas, but I don't think they're there. Can one get so close and then get so far? So close and yet so far. Okay, if his queen is on c5, it's also not stalemate, so... So later, rook d6 check, king c4. Now if he goes, yeah, king c4 is the only move he has. Now rook check, king goes to b3, knight check, king goes friggin' any way it wants to. Okay, once the king is on b3, then the only four places are that one and that one. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Okay, let's move king d6. Just okay, so that is the move. The only move now is that one. So I've seen all of this, but now what now? I don't see what now. I mean, I was looking at the possibility of a draw, but I don't see it because king f2 is always a possibility for us. Ah, okay. Rook e6 check because we have knight and knight. Okay, so we have two knight checks. I see it now. I see that one now. Okay, and rook d2 check, and then rook a2 check. Okay, I got it. Whew! Somehow I got it right. I'm not going to get any rating for it, but it doesn't matter. At least I don't lose anything. Hey, got one rating point. Oh yeah. Okay. We are up material, up a pawn. Up a pawn. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Is there anything crazy here? I mean, I understand that the obvious threat is f4 next. Threatening our queen and threatening the knight. So I understand that. Knight c4 might be an option. With knight e3 even after that. But I don't think it's enough. Okay, so maybe we do have a little bit of an issue to deal with here. Maybe we have a small issue to deal with here. Bishop d3 maybe, f4 is still the problem. Hmm. So if we play knight c4, pawn takes bishop, knight takes bishop, queen c2, then we have the problem of the knight hanging and him attacking with e5 as well. So I don't like either. Don't like this either. Now maybe knight g4 is an option. Knight e to g4. But I'm still not convinced after the fork. We win a rook. I'm still not convinced with the moves like e5 that he has. So maybe knight f to g4. But it doesn't do anything. He moves his queen or something. You know what I'm saying? Now you got two pieces hanging. I don't know. Don't like it. Maybe we have time with bishop d3, f4. No, we don't have time. I'm not sure. Takes. Queen is hanging. Everything is hanging. No. Bishop d3 is not an option. Not an option, sir. I guess bishop d5. I keep on, looking at this, but I didn't like bishop d5. I don't know why. Because I have two protectors. This is a bit of logic, but I did have two protectors, which for some odd reason I didn't see. I don't know why I didn't see that. I mean, I was so stupid. But anyway, that was so logical. I don't even know why, I was taking my time there. So knight takes rook. Knight takes knight, we take the knight first. If he takes back, we take his queen, we take, and we end up being up in exchange. I might have done that too quickly, but okay. Yeah, because we also forked the bishop on c2, on c1 as well, if he does take on f2. Okay, so that's a quick one. It's a time like. Okay, if we get them right, we can win. Okay, so he's trying to stop us from mating him. Can we mate him? Maybe just king e7. If he takes our rook, we take check or something, or we take with a bishop, and then we threaten to play rook b8 mate. That is quite mean. That is quite mean. This is called being evil. King e7. I want to play king e7. But okay, maybe he has bishop b7 as an idea. So we have an obvious check. Obvious, I say. And then we have, after king a6, it's the only move. We have knight b8 check. Then the king can go to a7 as well. Meh. Trying to find this. There has to be a mate here. There must be a mate. We're not trading off material here. We're going to mate. Now we don't have time for that. Okay, so let's just play the first move. Because it's obvious. Now knight b8 does look obvious too, but it might not be. Knight b8. No, it is wrong now. Darn it! So what is correct now? Maybe knight here check? No. Are we trying to get him to trap himself, maybe? Bishop check is not fine. That's not good. So now what? Maybe just rook b8. Oh, bishop check. I mean, how dirty is this? How rude is that? Okay, that's where we'll stop for today. So yeah. So we ended up getting up to, what is our rating right now? They don't say after that. Okay, let's just refresh. Let's go to tactics again. 2580 or something. So we are climbing, still climbing, nice and steadily. Pretty much every show we are climbing. Got about 30 rating points for that one. It's close to 2600, so we'll have to come back tomorrow to get the 2600 club. Okay, guys. Yeah, if you are watching right now, or you do end up watching this tonight, we have a new show starting called Moby Dick. You guys will have to come and see what happens. It's gonna be a fun one, so definitely come and check it out. Cheers, guys.